I'm here today to introduce our next speaker, and it's been interesting just listening so far. We've already had some international flavor. You've heard how the New York Rev is really based on a UK regulatory scheme, and our first keynote speaker quoted the French economist Thomas Piketty. But now we're headed east, and I'm going to talk to you for a moment about our next speaker, Yasuo Tanabe. If you know anything about universities in Japan, you'll probably be impressed that he has a degree from the University of Tokyo. Even if not, you may have heard of a little school in California called Stanford, and he also has a master's degree from Stanford. Mr. Tanabe-san, has been involved in energy for a long time, and I've personally been fortunate to meet him several times over the last few years in Japan. He's active in the International Energy Forum. He's had a role with the International Energy Agency, with APEC, with ASEAN, and across the board, an experience with energy issues in Asia. We wanted him to come today because what you'll find is that Japanese corporations, yes, they are for-profit corporations, but they actually do have a little bit different philosophy on some of these issues. And Mr. Tanabe is going to come and speak today about Hitachi's philosophy called social innovation. So with that brief intro, I'm going to go ahead and ask Mr. Tanabe to come out and speak. Thank you.
Aloha. Thank you very much for joining us today. Doug, thank you very much for your introduction. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much for the organizer to give me this occasion to introduce what the company Hitachi is doing. Of course, we are here for a project we call Jump Smart Maui, you may know. But today, I would like to introduce you what we are doing all over the world in the name of social innovations. So let me go through my presentation. Okay, I will go through first Hitachi profile as a whole. Then I will explain what does social innovation means. Then I will introduce you some of the applications in the field of transportation, water, healthcare, and smart grids or smart cities. So I hope you be aware of Hitachi's new business models. Hitachi, I often ask when I go through the immigration, and I often ask the officer, what kind of Hitachi do you know? And many officers would say, yes, Hitachi is a TV, or someone say Hitachi has a nice video recorder. Even someone said Hitachi has a nice rice cooker. Yes, those are correct. So we have those home appliances nowadays very much value added. Like very expensive rice cookers, which is nowadays very popular among Chinese people. Chinese people rush to Akihabara to buy Hitachi rice cookers, tens of dozens of rice cookers. So these home appliances still we have. But when we look at the total configuration, business portfolio in total Hitachi group, this kind of home appliances, a little minor part, just 7% of our total revenue. Hitachi is a very much widely diversified conglomerate. I often say Hitachi is a company like General Electric plus IBM. That's right. The largest segment of Hitachi is information technology. And of course, we have power systems like power generation, grid and distribution, and also social infrastructure, industrial infrastructures, as well as other materials, equipment, even financial services we have. So Hitachi is very large conglomerate. So we nowadays intending to integrate these types of business segments in the form of social innovation. By social innovation, we mean we would like to serve the world with our superb advanced technologies. In other words, we would like to provide you the social infrastructures in many fields: transportation, energy, healthcare, water, all sorts of areas for social infrastructure should be established and maintained and operated for the life cycle, utilizing our most advanced information technologies. That's we mean social innovation. So let's go through some of the application of social innovation businesses. First area is transportation and railway. You are, I think, familiar with Japanese Shinkansen, high-speed rail, operated by JR in Japan. But most of those Shinkansen, high-speed rail-related technologies are provided by Hitachi. It is, say, traffic management system and station facility and signaling system, rolling stock, of course, and depot equipments, and power supply system. All those sorts of technologies are provided by Hitachi. Therefore, Japanese Shinkansen is very safe and very punctual and very reliable. And nowadays, many countries are interested in that kind of high-speed rail project. A couple of years ago, we have won the big contract from the United Kingdom called Intercity Express program. It is modernization of the existing rail lines utilizing Hitachi technologies. We provide 866 rolling stocks, as well as 27 years and a half lifetime maintenance services. The first train is just shipped to the United Kingdom. It will start operation in 2017. Something related in Hawaii is recent news about Hitachi's acquisition of Italian companies called Ansaldo Breda and Ansaldo STS. Those two Ansaldo companies belong to Finmeccanica Group of Italy, and recently we have agreed to acquire those two train-related companies from Finmeccanica Italy. That Ansaldo is now building Honolulu Rail Project. This Honolulu Rail Transit Project I have known for years, and there has been many debate regarding on this project. And now it is under construction by Ansaldo. So I hope after Ansaldo joining Hitachi Group, Hitachi can make it on-time delivery and provide secure and reliable rail project. So that's the field of transportation railway. Second area I would like to stress is water supply, water treatment related sectors. We have many hardwares like this turbine pump. Hitachi has been providing those kind of equipments to many water authorities in the world. This is the example of California. We have provided turbine pumping stations to Edmonston Pumping Plant, which is connecting Northern California and Southern California. So we are providing water solution to California. But in addition to those hardware equipments, we have developed new technology systems of water simulation. Water is, of course, on the ground, surface water, as well as underground water. And we can now simulate what's going on the surface as well as underground, and what will happen according to the weather conditions. So this kind of simulation models can be utilized for water development planning, where to pull out the water for the supply, or how we can protect from the severe damage like hurricane attacks. We are now promoting this simulation model to Southern California, namely San Diego area. Another example of water-related technology is what we call remix water. We have developed this remix water technologies. This is, to put simply, the combination of seawater desalination and water treatment. So treated water and desalinated water can be mixed to supply new water. This hybrid system would be much more efficient than the total desalination project. And it can be used for new water supply, so it is better for resource conservation than the regular water treatment. We are now promoting this remix water to all over the world. Let's move on to another area, which is healthcare. Again, we have a lot of hardware equipments. One of the most advanced equipment is particle beam therapy. Particle beam is produced by the accelerator, and this particle beam can kill the cancer cell pinpoint. So very accurate and very safe these PBT systems have been introduced in the advanced cancer centers like MD Anderson in the United States. And nowadays, many orders coming to Hitachi. So we are very busy providing these PBT systems. And in addition to those advanced equipments, now we are working on how to prevent the disease, healthcare problems by utilizing big data analytics. One example is what we have done. Within Hitachi employees, we have analyzed the health data of each Hitachi employees and families. Hitachi is very big, more than 300,000 employees. So very, very large data are available. This is really big data. And we have done big data analytics. And we can find what will happen to each of those employees. And in particular, we can expect who will have diabetics. So before each employees can have diabetics, we can provide the in order to avoid becoming diabetics, to offer certain dieting habits as well as exercising. Then we can save the expenditure of medical services for the employee as well as the company. So we can save the expenditure. So this kind of big data analytics is being applied in the healthcare systems. Now I'd like to introduce you probably you're familiar with the Jump Smart Maui project. It is a Japanese government agency, NEDO, funded project. And the consortium is led by Hitachi here in the island of Maui. Here we have provided our technologies like micro distribution management system, as well as machine-to-machine networks. And we have also installed battery systems. And thank you very much for the volunteers' cooperation for the home applications, as well as electric vehicles applications. Now we are going into the second phase of this project. In the second phase of this project, the electric vehicles will be used as storage. Electricity supplied during the daytime from the solar panel or windmill can be stored in the electric vehicles. So electric vehicles is like batteries. And those electricity can be used from the vehicles to the homes in the nighttime when demand is high and supply is short. So this kind of vehicles to home, V2H, or vehicles to grid, V2G, can be implemented in the second phase of Jump Smart Maui project. I hope it will be successful, and it will show the example as a success cases to the rest of the world. And something similar to the smart city, smart grid project all over the world, including Maui, is the most recent Japanese case, which is Kashiwanoha Town development. Kashiwanoha Town is located about 30-minute train ride from Tokyo city center. It is a newly developed area done mostly by Mitsui Fudosan. There, the aerial energy management system is provided by Hitachi. So Hitachi is now an energy management provider as an area there, as well as buildings and homes there. So this kind of applications will be growing in Japan and elsewhere. Other types of energy, electricity-related technologies is grid stabilization. Last year, Hitachi has agreed with Bonneville Power Administration, which is located in Oregon, to install our grid stabilization systems utilizing central processing server, including real-time information analysis to provide totally stable power grid power supply. And in addition to those grid stabilization systems, recently we have developed new battery systems. This is what we call Christina. This is lithium-ion batteries plus power conditioner systems in all-in-one, in one container. So very convenient to respond to frequency change resulting from the renewable electricity supply. We have recently installed these battery systems in New Jersey. So I hope it will be more popular in the United States and elsewhere. Some other examples of smart city development is including this people behavior analysis. We have done some cases, people's behavior analysis. Basically, it is a simulation or actual tracing of people's move in, say, the city or in, say, shopping center, in, say, in the offices. So how people are moving are sensed. And again, this data is as big data will be analyzed by our analytics. And then we can make advice how shopping centers, shops should be arranged in the shopping center in order to avoid congestions or in order to make people's move smoothly. Or in the office, we can advise what kind of layouts in the office would bring good officers' interactions in order to raise the productivity in the office work. So this kind of people's move simulation will be applied in the city development planning. We hope this will be used. And the last application model is traffic controlling center. In particular, we have been providing traffic controlling center, but again, using big data of, say, cars moves in the city, then from the controlling center, we can advise each cars to go through this way or that way. In that way, we can avoid traffic jam. Now we are demonstrating this project in some of the Asian cities. So those are the examples of what Hitachi is doing as a social innovation model. So conclusion is Hitachi will contribute to the solution for the challenges of global society through these social innovation businesses. During doing so, Hitachi will think globally and act locally. This is what we are doing here in Maui. And Hitachi commits Hawaii and Maui and demonstrates our capability here in Hawaii and Maui, and we will promote these models from Hawaii and Maui to the world. So thank you very much for your attention.
I'm here today to introduce our next speaker. She is in an incredibly influential position in her role as Vice President of Customer Services? Energy Solutions, pardon me, at Austin Energy. And in that role, she gets to work with a very innovative utility in a very innovative climate. And I can tell you, she has brilliant ideas, and she's a refreshing voice. We were comparing notes at lunch, and we clearly see the world in a lot the same way. And so I'm not gonna belabor the point. I encourage you to listen to her words of wisdom, and welcome here at the podium.
Aloha. How are you this afternoon? Well, I have the good fortune to be one of the next to the last speakers. Gives me the power of the podium here, and so I can kind of cut loose and say all of those things that are on my mind and engage in a dialogue with you all. So here's one of the things I hate to do. I just hate to sit here and be the only one talking. So write down any questions you have. I would love to have a dialogue. I think the most effective communications are two-way communications, so I look forward to leaving lots of time today to be able to talk to y'all. Notice I'm working on becoming a true Texan by doing the y'all bit, but I'll never get to all y'alls or I'm fixin' to fix dinner. There are just some things this little Arizona girl can't do. So I was asked to talk about how you go about engaging customers in fresh new ways. And I really think that our industry, the energy industry, is at such a pivotal time because there are so many new communication channels that we can use. I am going to depart from a lot of what you've heard over the last 2 days by not talking about solar, not talking about wind, but I'm going to talk a little bit about energy efficiency and demand response programs because I think they provide lots of ways in which utilities like Austin Energy can engage their customers. So who are we? So Austin Energy is the 8th largest municipal utility in the country, and we're actually, or 8th largest public power utility in the country, and the 3rd largest municipal utility. So our governing board is our city council. And talk about changing times. When I came to Austin a couple of years ago, Austin was the 13th largest city in the country. We're now the 11th largest city in the country. And can I tell you, I see that every day as I'm creeping along MOPAC to work. We have a lot of people that are moving to Austin every day. Why? Not just because it's about keeping Austin weird, but it's a really cool place to live with very, very engaged customers and stakeholders. Our utility serves 435,000 customers, and about 360,000 of those customers are residential customers. We have 1 million residents within our 437 square mile service territory, and our peak load, which we hit a couple of years ago, is 2,800 megawatts. So we're considered on the mainland as sort of a mid-sized utility. Our annual budget, revenue budget, is $1.5 billion. Now, our mission is what defines us, and it's remained this way for a number of years. And I think one of the things that's really important in our business, notwithstanding the need to change, is to have a consistent mission. And our mission, conveniently enough, translates into the acronym CARE. So if you work in the utility business, you love acronyms. It's a major acronym smackdown. Our mission is to deliver clean, affordable, reliable energy with excellent customer service, ergo CARE. And that's something that we embody in all of the programs that we offer. Now, I provided this visual in the panel discussion that I shared earlier, but I want to elaborate on one thing. So as our City Council recently updated our generation plan, which was the product of a lot of dialogue with stakeholders, with customers telling us what they wanted, we ended up with a generation plan that says by the year 2025, 10 years from now, we would be 55% renewable. How renewable are we right now? We're roughly at about 25%. So think about that. Between where we are now and where we're going to be in 10 years, we're looking to go from 25% to 55% renewable. Further, the City Council said, and Austin agreed, will be 900 megawatts of energy efficiency and demand response by the year 2025. We'll have 950 megawatts of solar, and much of that will have to be locally sourced. But frankly, when you live in the great state of Texas, the best solar is located out in the far west part of the state, where the sun shines constantly, you have very little cloud cover, and land is real cheap. Land is not real cheap in Austin, Texas, and as I discovered moving from Arizona, it's a lot greener, and they actually have trees in Austin, so that doesn't always provide the best conditions for rooftop solar. And finally, the City of Austin is committed to be 100% carbon neutral in their facilities, their operations, and their fleet. But here's the big proviso. You see the bold words at the bottom? That's subject to meeting our affordability limits. And our City Council defines affordable as ensuring that our overall system average rates don't increase by more than 2% a year. So that means fuel, O&M, all-in costs can increase no more than 2% a year. So that's a pretty hard target to meet. So we've got to do that, and that is not an easy challenge. So you might say, where do we stand now? This gives you an idea with the recently changed goals of where we stand now. We're about halfway to meeting our energy efficiency goal. You can see the part in red is what we have left to do. So about 460 megawatts left to complete by the end of the period. And we've got a fair ways to go on solar. Now, I would add that last year we were very, very fortunate in putting out an RFP and getting a bid for utility-scale solar of 150 megawatts at slightly under 5 cents a kilowatt hour. And that is a locked-in price good for 25 years. Now, you've got to transport it from West Texas to Austin, but nonetheless, that I saw as a pivotal change in our industry. Why? Because when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, we put up a community solar plant, and that plant cost roughly 16 cents per kilowatt hour. So within a fairly short period of time, we saw a rapid transformation in the downward costs of utility-scale solar. So let's talk a little bit about where we are now and where we're heading. So I mentioned earlier, I've been doing this for about 30 years. So what was the 20th century utility model? It was about increasing sales, right? More volume, more money, increasing sales. And again, I work with a lot of engineers. And what do they like to do? They like to build stuff. And in order to build stuff, you need money. And if you work in an investor-owned utility, doing all of that gets you a rate of return. And obviously, in the 20th century, it was all about enhancing reliability. So sales, building and spending, and enhancing reliability. That's what it looked like. You see the Central Station Power Plant. Well, look to the 21st century model, and you can see something different. It's not about sales. To me, it's about increasing value to our customers. And it's about the products and services that you offer your customers that your customers value. And by the way, refreshing those constantly because your customers' preferences change constantly. And it goes beyond reliability. It really goes to things like power quality and personalized services and giving me a unique customer experience when I interact with the utility. So we don't talk in the business that much anymore about customer satisfaction. We talk about the customer experience. So our industry in a very short period of time is really transformed. So let's talk a little bit about utility customers. Heard a little bit about utility customers here in Maui and in Hawaii in general, and they're not unlike the utility customers on the mainland. So how many of you sitting out there were born after, say, 1982, 1983? Raise your hands. Oh, dear God. Okay, there's 2 over there. I'm feeling good. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I happen to have a couple of kids that were born after that period of time, and guess what? Those customers are the customers now and in the future. They have been connected since birth. If I need help with my computer, who do I go to? I go to my kid. Any of you? For those of you who did not raise your hand, who do you go to when you need help with your computer, right? It's that younger generation. They are extraordinarily technology adept. They all have cell phones. They're all open to change. Now, I hope we don't end up like the robot on the right. So you've got the millennials, you've got the Gen Ys, the Gen Nets, and there's all of this discussion now about artificial intelligence. But the fact of the matter is, our customer base has changed dramatically. In the case of my former utility and the utility where I work now, our customer base is now more racially and ethnically diverse than it has ever been before. In the case of my former utility, in just a few years, 65% of their customer base will be Hispanic, or second, third, or first generation Hispanic. Some will remain connected to their cultural preferences, and the way you communicate with those customers is in a way that resonates with those customers. This is a monumental change in our industry, and I don't think we can lose sight of it because it affects how you communicate with your customers. Now, I just heard a lot of talk about smart meters. So as I said, I have the ability to be one of the last people up at the podium. So how do you engage with your customers? Well, there's going to need to be some infrastructure. I mean, it's not as though we can use cell phones for everything without having some infrastructure. So this chart, a little wordy though it may be, shows the start of Austin Energy's programs, energy efficiency programs, back in the early 1980s. But we didn't get to where we are right now in terms of offering the services that our customers want without putting in some steel, some wires, some bricks and mortar. From a fiber backbone that was put in place in 1991 to rolling out smart meter deployment in roughly the mid to late 2010-9 period, upgrading, not without its challenges, our customer information system, and then most recently putting in an awful lot of infrastructure that enables us to predict outages, to locate outages without having to roll a truck and find out where the problem is on our system, upgrading our energy management systems, all of that. And if you notice this, there is a bit of an upward trend in terms of some of the infrastructure that we need to enable those programs. Going back to those millennials, when do they like to communicate? Guess what? It's not between 9 and 5. In fact, that's me, and I can tell you I'm not a millennial. I mean, I like to sit on my sofa at night, and I may shop at 11 o'clock at night. And that's what our customers like to do. They want to be able to get service virtually if they can, in their terms, at their time, via the mechanisms that they use. So let me talk just a bit about Austin Energy's smart utility journey. We went from talking about smart grid projects. We decided that wasn't a good way of talking about what we were doing, to working a smart utility vision. And that was dedicated to doing a couple of things. One was improving customer engagement, not making it a one-way communication between the utility and our customers, enhancing safety and reliability. So again, what we do, it is absolutely imperative that safety comes first. Improving our workforce efficiency. We heard a little bit about not having to roll trucks, and frankly, in the case of Austin Energy, with the very congested traffic conditions we face, the last thing we want to do is have trucks sitting idling on MOPAC or I-35 and contributing to a not very healthy environment. And finally, about integrating demand response, battery storage, and renewables. So I'm going to talk about residential programs, so with apologies to those who want to talk about commercial programs, I'm going to focus on 3 different programs that we offer our residential customers. And I'm going to start by talking about the Bring Your Own Thermostat program, the BYOT program, and related to that, our Power Saver Volunteer program, and then lastly, a web-enabled application that provides tier alerts to our customers. So all 3 are interrelated, and I'll explain it by giving you this chart. So ERCOT's big. I mean, it's over 68,000 megawatts in the great Republic of Texas. And Austin's not alone. Texas is growing by leaps and bounds. And guess what drives that load growth? Well, obviously population growth, but the other thing that's driving the growth in energy usage in ERCOT is HVAC usage, air conditioning usage. So in the middle of the summer, and our summer in Austin, it's so much better than Phoenix, Arizona. It's only 4 months as opposed to 8 months. It runs from June to September. So those are the hottest months of the year. And during that period of time, during those ERCOT peaks, air conditioning load from residential and small commercial customers can account for 50 to even more than 70% of the ERCOT peak load. That's huge. That is just huge. Now think about how you go about managing that load. And I will tell you, solar helps a lot, but it's not entirely coincident with that peak load. What makes it even more challenging is that over time the market cap has increased. So the market cap right now in ERCOT is a whopping $9,000 a megawatt hour. So imagine if they get into a situation where they are constrained in meeting load. And so I put it this way, how many of you filled up your gas tank this morning? What did you pay? And in Austin, you'd pay probably about $2 a gallon. Here, probably what? $3.50 a gallon? Imagine pulling up to the pump one day and having to pay $9,000 a gallon. That would be a bit of a shocker. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. This chart here shows for the month of July in 2013, the load shapes that we saw for every single day in the month of July. And you can see the tremendous variation, but by the end of the month of July, that red line gets up to close to 60,000 megawatts. So again, ERCOT capacity, 68,000 megawatts. On that day, a couple of years ago, we're closing in on the top part of the ERCOT capacity. Now, the interesting thing is that that happens during a very short period of time. So we have our 4 CPs. So we look at the 4 peaks that occur during that period of time. And if you stop and think about it from the standpoint of ERCOT or Austin Energy, the top 160 megawatts are used in only 40 hours of the entire year. So looking at it in the case of Austin Energy and our generation, or looking at it in the case of ERCOT, it's very small. Right now, we have at our disposal anywhere from 40 to 60 megawatts of demand response at Austin Energy. ERCOT has about 1,600 megawatts. ERCOT has the potential to get to roughly 6,000 megawatts at the high end, and we believe Austin Energy can get to at least 160 megawatts of demand response potential, the ability to, as the speakers yesterday referred to, clip or shave that peak. So do you think that price cap ever comes into play? Well, the month we were just talking about, this is what happened. So you can look at what happened on September the 3rd, late in the summer, and you can see that prices at 4:30 on September the 3rd topped out at almost $5,000 a megawatt hour. So like any other utility in Texas who's in ERCOT. You bid your generation into ERCOT and you buy back from ERCOT. If you had no generation and you were serving your customers off of ERCOT, you would have been paying that market price of $3,000, that was when the cap was at a lower level, $5,000 a megawatt hour, and that exposes your customers to tremendous risk. Because I can tell you this, we don't have that much money in the bank. We don't have that in reserves. So getting that invoice in the mail from ERCOT that would be in the millions and millions and millions of dollars for Austin Energy would be a bad thing. So what have we done at Austin Energy? Well, we launched in the early 2000s sort of a traditional thermostat model. And I don't know if this has been used in the islands, but it started in 2001, and we gave away free thermostats. They were programmable thermostats. And these thermostats were provided to 90,000+ single-family, multifamily, and small commercial customers. It was a very top-down model, you know, kind of typical way utilities work, right? So we went out and we put the thermostats in the customers' homes. We took in support calls through our call center, and it was one-way communication to the thermostats through a radio signal on a pager network. Pagers, what are those? There was no smartphone connectivity with those customers. We couldn't really claim energy savings. It was we made it almost impossible for the customer to opt out of the event. We implemented a 30% cycling strategy where we would either cycle the HVAC units on and off, or we would adjust temperatures on the thermostats. But here's the deal. The contractors hated these thermostats. So when they went out to replace air conditioning systems, they'd take those thermostats down. And we didn't know if they were still there or not. The only way we knew or had an idea of how many thermostats were there would be to call an all-drop event to see what we got in terms of load shed at the time and try to back into how many thermostats we thought were out there. We have about 60,000 of those thermostats in place right now. It's a business model that still works for the multifamily dwellings, but it's one that didn't give customers a lot of choice. And I'm all about giving customers choice. So what did we do? We launched a few years ago a two-way communicating thermostat model, and it was a way that we could verify that we were seeing the responses that we wanted to see. Customers had the ability to access the information and override the event from their smartphone. There were better strategies that were available to us in terms of how we went about adjusting those thermostats. We believe, and we haven't yet done all of the analysis, that there will be energy efficiency savings associated with this, and there is an improved opt-out process. So I like to think of it along these lines, and let's see if I can get it. If you can't see it from the back, it's a woman standing in front of a dryer with her husband holding up a pair of his underwear saying, "Just giving the grid advance warning of a peak load." Customers are engaged with this thing. And guess what? We do not call it a curtailment program. This is kind of marketing 101, right? We don't call it a demand response program. We demand that you respond. We call it the rush hour rewards program, okay? I'm still working on my marketing skills, so bear with me. So this is a little bit of an overview of the program. It started in 2003, and we said, bring your own thermostat. Now, it's not any old thermostat. We had multiple models. We had 14 approved devices, but it was really targeted to the do-it-yourselfers. How many of you love to shop at Home Depot? I do, unless it's on the weekends. So it was Alarm.com, Ecobee, Filtrete, Nest, Nexia Home Intelligence, radio thermostats, and we told customers that we would pay them $85, give them an $85 rebate for their participation in this program, and we gave the vendor $25 for each customer enrolled, and then also $15 a year for maintaining the customer. It was one of the things that I think really contributed to the success of the program, because it wasn't a one-size-fits-all program. There were multiple programs. And moreover, we said, you don't have to go out and buy one of these if you already have one of these thermostats in your home and you'd like to participate. We'll give you the rebate on that thermostat. So we opened it up to any and all who wanted to participate in it. So if you look at the traditional model, it was very costly. There was a high upfront cost and long-term responsibility. The maintenance costs were high. We really didn't have good participation over time. Customers didn't have good choices, and it was best suited for the multifamily market. With the new model, very low costs, very easy to integrate and cross-promote market with other programs. There's all sorts of choices, so not everybody wants an ecobee thermostat or an Energy Hub thermostat. They like Nest thermostats. And guess what? After we did this, Nest actually moved a call center to the city of Austin, and we created 100 jobs because of the growth of this program. So how did we market it? It was called really, really simple marketing. We said your enrollment and participation are voluntary. You can opt out at any time using your thermostat, your phone app, or the web. It's only for these 4 summer months. We only do it on weekdays, no holidays, so don't have to worry about having the neighbors over for 4th of July weekend barbecue. We're not going to touch you then. The events are typically 2 hours long. They run from right about 4 to 6 p.m. and usually no more than 15 events a year. So what did we look like in terms of the summer of 2014, or 13 rather? So we started off really, really strong, and I'll share some of the details in a moment, but we thought about doing some other things. We didn't want to just work with thermostats. We also wanted to see what would happen if we were able to work through a cloud-based system with big data to enable the response of thermostats as well as electric vehicle charging stations. We received a grant, an ARPA-E grant, with AutoGrid in the summer of 2013, and we worked through AutoGrid on an approach that was very hardware neutral. So it worked with multiple standards, and it worked really well. We were able to look at the response on the program, and it was terrific. Very low first cost. Guess what? Straight out the chutes, enrolled 4,000 thermostats without spending $1 on marketing. Why? Nest put out a press release, and before we knew it, we were inundated with orders, which was a bit of a challenge, but we were able to deal with that eventually. Good uptake, great response from our customers and the media, and we've got great data to work with now through the data that we're collecting. We're looking at our opt-outs. We've got about 10,000 customers in the program right now, and we're seeing about a 15% opt-out rate, really good participation in the first hour. And by the way, we pre-cool homes through this, so it's not as though we're just nudging the temperature up. So I'm going to talk about a couple things. Power Saver volunteers. So in addition to this, so I wasn't the only one, I guess, to use The Simpsons. So we called it a curtailment program. What did we do? We sent out a message, Curtailment Reminder 2. This is a message from Austin Energy Volunteer Program. Lower your energy use today, Friday, June 7th, 2011, from 4 to 6 p.m. Okay, real friendly, huh? So this is more my generation, the new program. Here's an energy saver tip. This is a message from the Power Saver Volunteer Program. So even if they don't have a programmable thermostat, we tell them cook smart using the microwave, which uses up to 70% less energy, cooks 75% faster, and produces less heat than an electric or gas oven. Avoid turning on the oven during the day. A lot friendlier, okay? How did we market this new program? Well, we did it through various tactics, including a monthly newsletter, Constant Contact, which is an email service that we use, the email platform that we use, events and marketing, having a summer challenge this summer, so engaging in sort of the social norming race, having a web link, and doing surveys. And the last thing I want to talk about is our web application, because this is something that has really taken off. So I kind of whined a little bit earlier about if I have to spend more than $58,000, I have to go to 2 commissions in the city council. And oh yeah, probably through a purchasing process, and all that's going to take me about 6 to 8 months. I'm serious. So, survey question, do you set your thermostat back? All right, you think people set their thermostat back? People say, of course they set their thermostat back. Well, guess what? Survey answer, not really. It's going the wrong direction to boot. So if you look at this survey that was conducted by the Nielsen Company, those that said that they programmed their thermostat, in 2010, 53% said did in fact set their thermostat back, and in 2013 it dropped to 44%. Folks, that's going the wrong direction. That's why I say listen to what your customers say, but watch what they do. So what did we do? Well, for almost 2 decades, Austin Energy didn't change its prices. Not a really good business model. They adjusted fuel, but they didn't change any other prices. So the price signals were wrong. Nothing like getting the hook. Change it. Time's up. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. So what we did was to put in place a web application that gave people the ability to look at, set tier alerts when they'd be entering the next highest level of energy consumption when the price increases. So this gives you, real simple, this costs $50,000. And it's available to all of our customers, residential customers, free. So this shows energy consumption on a day-by-day basis, and it can give you up to 14 days notice when you're going to enter the next higher tier. First tier is 1.8 cents a kilowatt hour. The fifth tier is 11.4 cents. So that gives you an idea of why you want a tier alert. It can also give you your solar data. So if you have a solar system, you can look at your solar production as well. It also enables you to see if your solar system's not working or maybe a GFI has tripped. So again, a very helpful tool to give your customer. Most recently, this spring, we added energy efficiency tracking measures in a way for people to engage customer to customer on tips and tools by which to reduce their energy consumption. So what do I think customers, what utilities need to do currently? They need to become more customer-centric. It's not about technology, folks. It's not about smart grids. It's not about program design. That's helpful. You need that. But you need to develop products and services that your customers value. And this is something you don't hear from many utility executives. You need to take risks. Because you know what? If you don't take risks, you're not going to be able to get that ball across the goal line. And you need to, and I try to tell my folks that, and I've certainly done this a lot, I've learned more from my mistakes than any of my so-called successes. Listen to what customers say, pay attention to what they do, communicate in terms that customers understand. So here's something that kind of resonates with someone like myself. I think my Nest smoke alarm is going off. Google AdWords just pitched me a fire extinguisher and an offer for temporary housing. What do I want at Austin Energy? Well, this is what I want. 21 billion Nokia, 4.1 billion Starbucks, 76 billion Apple. Austin Energy, priceless. Mahalo.